Avoidance makes you sick, and the antidote for that is accountability. And my Coco method is the medicine. If you're new here, I'm lindadada, financial healing strategist. I help women and families rebuild from trauma, from domestic violence situations, particularly focused around financial abuse. And I'm here to talk about it. Thank you for everyone that tuned in to episodes 1 and 2. I am truly grateful for everyone that commented, for anyone that just poured in a word of encouragement. You guys don't know, it's given me such a boost of energy. I've had to show up for you guys. You showed up for me. Thank you. So continue to spread the word. I've even gotten acknowledgement of how my transcription had someone a little dizzy, and I promise you, practice makes perfect. So let me know if this episode, I pray that you are not dizzy after reading the transcriptions on this one. Yes, let's talk about avoidance and accountability. Now, I'm going to give you guys some real deep truth. I personally didn't really understand avoidance until the symptoms of it really started breaking down my body. I was in isolation for a very long time. And it wasn't until God led me into a movement of solitude that I really started understanding that I was avoiding myself. At the moment, I currently am struggling with degenerative disc disease, and for someone my age, it's not really typical. My doctor is perfect history, but they are working tirelessly. We are together continuously trying to resolve what the problems are. But I had an MRI not too long ago, a couple of days ago, and my results were not as nice as our president's own. My doctor didn't say these were the best results that a doctor's ever seen. No. Although the results were not necessarily the results that I was looking for, my body had already told me that the results were expected. And fortunately, I'm working with an amazing team of doctors and we're strategizing, but it's a challenge. And I say this to you all because I want you to understand that avoidance really is a sickness. And when you avoid situations and they go unlooked at, unhealed, it really can cause physical damage. So please take care of yourselves. Please continue to speak. Remember that silence, it kills, it destroys, but speaking is empowering. So I hope this makes some kind of an impact on your lives and understand that, no, it's very real. So prayers up for Linda Dada. For anyone else that's out there dealing with degenerative joint diseases, it's not only the elderly that has struggles with these illnesses, and a lot of us women that are dealing with post-separation abuse or financial abuse or domestic violence deal with a lot of stored up emotions and inflammation that causes physical damage in our bodies. I am personally dealing with it, and the pain that I've taken from it, I hold it with an honor. I claim my pain because without it, I wouldn't have been able to gain the wisdom that I needed to fight it, to really come on this mic, as you can see, and speak to you guys so confidently about something that it is quite devastating for me, but I don't really know how to show pain in the typical way that pain should be shown. I wear my scars, trust me, and I'm grateful every day that God has given me these blessings of bringing me through these lessons. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about the C.O.C.O system. And let me let you know a little bit more about the C.O.C.O system. C.O.C.O stands for, yes, claim, own, create, overflow. But it also stands for crash out, cash out. So while we're talking about the subject of avoidance, we're going to talk about the crash out moment. And I particularly would love to really speak to my kings. I want to speak to the men that are the abusers, the ones that are fully consciously aware of what they're doing, the ones that live in shame and guilt instead of just doing right from wrong, because you too are also avoiding something. And the only way that we can truly end this generational trauma that exists behind financial abuse is if we speak to the abuser himself. Now, it's a little controversial because I'm also speaking to my ladies. And I was definitely one of these women too, because by allowing these people to infiltrate our peace, we were avoiding something within ourselves. And whatever that looks like for you today, I pray that you can claim it. That is my hope. The C.O.C.O system teaches you how to claim the things, the challenges, the things that are hard for us to look at, that we don't necessarily want to face. But that's where our freedom exists. Because again, the antidote for avoidance is accountability. It's simply the opposite. To not avoid something is to be accountable for it. Avoidance is not protection, it's deterioration. And let me explain something to you guys from a spiritual perspective, because healing starts from our Creator. And when God created the world, yes, God created Adam and Eve, but it was Adam that He created first. So that leadership role came from Adam. And when God created Adam, it was Adam that He told, do not do X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm not going to make this a sermon. This is not what this episode is about. The point is, Adam had a responsibility to keep order, and the order that needed to be kept was for him to keep God's word and to make sure he holds on to it. So now when God created a companion for him, companion, let me go pull up the definition of companion. I'll be right back. So now, according to the Webster's Dictionary, companion is one that accompanies another. Another definition is one that is closely connected with something similar, one employed to live with and serve, or a celestial body that appears close to another, but that may or may not be associated with it in space. The reason I wanted to touch on this to you guys was because marriage was not what came with the creation of mankind. Marriage was a gift. And that gift of marriage was given to us as a gift to restore order after rebellion kicked in. So, yes, I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to the men. Because regardless of what position you hold in this world, your spirits are in line to do certain things. So when you avoid accountability, what happens in a normal family dynamic? The woman now, literally, she may not be the person that was necessarily designed to take over the leadership role, but yes, she's going to be gifted a new set of keys, and now she has to run a whole new nation. And when that happens, sometimes the kids become rebellious. Triangulation exists. These are evidence-based things that happen in homes when financial abuse or domestic violence exists. But that woman, she's resilient and she's empowering. And sometimes all we need is a little bit of guidance, a little bit of, no, right from wrong, you know what you're doing. It's not like you're not making a conscious decision to be a terror or a maniac or a diabolical asshole in someone's life. Excuse my language. So here's the part. Now, we all know what happened after. I want to go back to the Adam Eve story real quick. I'm not going to stay too long on it. But the thing is, when God confronted Adam, immediately he put the blame on to Eve. He didn't take accountability. And I'm only saying this for my kings to understand that sometimes things are truly spiritual and generational. It's spiritual warfare, just like poverty in itself. So what happened before is happening now, and it will happen again. It's the truth. This is what life looks like. These are some of the things that God has promised us, and this is some of the things that have healed me through my own turmoil and my own abusive and challenging moments that I'm still dealing with, that I'm still praying that my children are empowered by too, just by seeing me here, because they too have their own challenges that they're dealing with this. But avoidance really does destroy the family dynamic. It's important to teach your children that you need to speak about what's happening in your life or what's going wrong. Avoidance destroys families. Avoidance destroys marriages. It destroys homes. It destroys relationships with business partners. It destroys money. It destroys children. And if you aren't healing, you're multiplying what you're not healing. So by constantly avoiding what you need to address, that's literally what you're multiplying, when literally the whole point of us being in this world is to be fruitful and multiply within ourselves. Because even if you have a companion or a husband or a wife, the truth is, sorry, that's my favorite little human. Woke up from a little nap. What's wrong? I know. I'm gonna get you something to eat right now. My baby. So maybe I went off on a tangent. But you can't really multiply in a marriage if you haven't addressed the things that you need to address within yourself. Here we go. Oh, hi, son.
I got the haircut.
You got the haircut?
Yeah. No
Let me
edges
see.
no more.
No fuzzy edges no more.
Yeah,
You looking proper, looking right, looking nice. Don't look like you got fuzzy edges. You need some edge control. So as you can see, This is also one of the challenges I have in making these videos, but I'm not avoiding it. No, I'm taking accountability. And being a mother is the most important thing to my heart. There's nothing that comes before my babies. So please, if these random interruptions with my time with my children interrupts you, swipe on ahead. There are many other creators within this app, but there's some pretty dope information coming on over here. And as you can see, I'm way more comfortable than I've been in episodes 1 and 2. Keep coming. Y'all giving me that energy. I love it. Thank you. And make sure you keep coming. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. I'm going to break this down in human language, not in church language. God created companionship first. Then came the gift of marriage. And you cannot multiply anything if you haven't healed those things within yourself, that you will not prosper any type of energy exchange with anyone, whether it's a companionship or a marriage. And what gets me is everybody likes to talk about Eve and how she ate the fruit, but why doesn't anybody talk about Adam's silence? Because when he was first approached, what did he do? He didn't do anything. He avoided. Think about it. So I learned something new. It's not like I know everything. No, I didn't grow up in church. I'm not holier than thou. But I am God's chosen one. I am his child. And abundantly, I do prosper abundantly because I'm very obedient to the purposes he's given me in my life. That's why I'm here talking about being mindful about things that we deal with in life, not just with people, but with our finances. So let me tell you about something I learned today. Today I learned that silence has a name. Abdication. And abdication means stepping away from the responsibility you were given. Adam didn't fall from rebellion. He fell from abdication. And this is essentially something that I've experienced within my own families. The ones I was born into, the ones that I was married into, even families that I developed outside of blood, because not all family is blood. So if you aren't healing, you are multiplying what you haven't healed. Just remember that. If you aren't healing, you are multiplying what you haven't healed. If you have kids, don't always misbehave because we're bad, because they're bad. It's because sometimes we've taught them avoidance. Sometimes we don't teach the kids the importance of expressing their emotions. I can tell you a lot of times from the generations that I grew up in, my mom's and my mother's generation and her mother's, they didn't know how to express that it wasn't wrong to be upset. It was just not healthy to express it in a way that was negative, which meant screaming or shouting. But let your kids express themselves. There's no other way to regulate your emotions without actually crashing out. Because the pain is where you prosper. The pain is where you elevate. That's where your fire comes from. The pain is what got me on this mic today, trust me, because that doctor's appointment that I had today, reality check. I'm not afraid, but when you have a chronic degenerative disease, oh, it's a fight. And my God has full control over what that diagnosis is. So let me talk to my kings for a moment. Avoidance isn't silence, it's surrender. Leadership requires accountability. And to my goddesses, to my ladies, trust your intuition. Just make sure your discernment can work the right way, as if you are honest and truthful to who you really are, to that intuition. Avoidance is not protecting your home, it's poisoning it. And believe me, your children feel everything that you release, even before you even release it. So I wanted to talk to you real quick, real intermission, brief commercial break, because LD Creates has partnered up with an amazing domestic violence organization called We Are Phenomenal Women. And I have my first in-person 3-day hybrid awesome financial empowerment workshop coming up in January. I would love for anybody, if anyone's in the tri-state area, anyone in the New York City area, this is my flyer. I'll definitely drop the details. See? The dates are, I don't know if it was clear, but we're doing, the workshop is being held the week of Martin Luther King's holiday, which is the 19th. It's a 3-day hybrid event, so that's January 19th, January 21st, and the 23rd. I'll definitely drop the flyers. It'll be everywhere across all of my socials. I'm not sure how to do it yet here in YouTube, but I will figure it out. But if you would love to attend or you just want some more information on what we're doing with We Are Phenomenal Women or with my workshop, please feel free to sign up at ldcreates.org, get on my mailing list, or you can also text 917-601-1754, text workshop. That way we'll get in touch with you. And yes, for all the women out there that are ready to rebuild, we're already in 2026. For anyone that knows that they are struggling with financial abuse, I've worked on something really powerful. And I'm only opening the access to 45 women. It is limited, exclusive access. So if you are ready to really change your life, learn how to really rebuild your credit, be obedient to it, and make this passive income, head over to ldcreates.org and sign up, get onto this email list immediately because the launch is coming out very, very soon. It's a very short window when this launch is open. The reason we're doing it this way is because the access is limited, so we don't want too many people. Sorry, it's not open to that many. 45. 45 founders. Have a seat at the table. Sign up ASAP. It's free. ldcreates.org. No cost to sign up. It's free. Totally free. So now, here I'm about to give you guys the medicine. This is how the Coco method works in real time. Because even in your crash out, you have to claim the reality of it, claim the silence, claim the avoidance, claim what it makes you feel on the inside when you actually avoid dealing with the situation that's happening in your life. Because when you are involved in any sort of any energy exchange with someone else, I'm a recovering people pleaser, so fawning, yeah, that was my middle name. That's not who I am anymore. Claim that you fawn. Claim that you people please. Claim the pain that it causes you from understanding that it causes neglect and rejection in your own life. Claim that people think you're crazy. You're not crazy. You're not dysfunctional. You're just dysregulated. You just need a little bit of guidance. You just need to understand that you need to sit in solitude with yourself. You have everything that you need to get out of it. But the beginning stages of it, you have to acknowledge it first. Claim that pain. I promise you, pain is something that a lot of people run from, but it's so much more empowering. There's so much freedom that comes from it because every single lesson that we've ever learned comes from pain. Even as kids, when we fell down and stumped our toes, you know, I'm sure we learned when our parents said, don't do that, don't pick that up. And we learned our lessons. But as an adult, we're just like little kids in adult bodies. And we can unlearn the things that created the avoidance in our lives, that created the symptoms of us not really addressing what we need to address. The next part of the medicine, you own, you step your part. Owning isn't blame, it's direction. It's basically saying, this is what happened to me. But what I do next, that belongs to me, and no one can take that from you. Silence loses its powers the moment you speak the truth. And remember, although my program is designed for women and families, men, you're part of it too. Speak your truth. When you know right from wrong and you're sitting here being emotionally and mentally abusive on someone, own it. If you truly want to heal it. Because I'd advise you, God really doesn't like ugly. And He sees you too. Create, build your healing. Create safety, create structure, create the nervous system deserves to live in. Healing is not linear. It's not one size fits all. I can tell you some of the things. My kids always say, Mommy, you're so corny. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. I love it. I really am the woman that takes walks sometimes. And when the sun is hitting my face and it feels amazing, I sing songs to the sun. I walk in the park, take off my shoes, and, feel it in between my toes and hug trees. And literally, since my kids was little, we'd go to the ocean, just sit there we'll go to the sea and just sit there, sit at the side of the shore and just be still. I teach my kids that the closest place to get to God is in His environment. So for us, because we're city people, it's the park. And sometimes when we have nothing to say, we just sit still. It's important. And as adults, I really do encourage that you sit in solitude with yourself because there's so many things that you'll understand. And trees, by the way, trees, oh, they'll tell you so many stories. You really learn a lot from trees. So spend time with the trees. Somatic releasing is a true therapy that works when it comes to nervous system regulation. Music is everything for me. So music, I just want to encourage that you will also tap into music. But again, writing, hopping onto this camera and maybe starting your own YouTube channel and telling your own story, it's also very empowering. So find what for you and remember that belongs to you too. So take the time to sit with yourself and to sit with your creator or the universe, however you find it. So yeah, healing powers really exist there too. And the final version is overflow. Become the version of you your trauma tried to bury. Overflow is when you're finally living in your authenticity, when you're living in your full truth. Overflow is when you've checked with self and you've recognized the abundance that's within you, that you're unstoppable. Truth is, once you're at that point of overflow, you're accountable. Receive the antidote. And you didn't necessarily need the cocoa medicine to do it, but for all that are struggling that would like to tap more into how you can sit here and apply this with every aspect of your life, especially when it comes to your money, please tap in with ldcreates.org. Let's recap. Avoidance makes you sick, and accountability is the antidote. And the Coco method is the medicine. And thank you for tuning in to the Crashout edition of Coco Wisdom. I'm Linda Dada, delivering your cocoa medicine. And tune in next week. See you next episode. And don't forget to subscribe, decreates.org, sign up for the email list. See you soon.